right. So as always, we begin by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we are on. We also acknowledge our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So if you can please do us the honors by introducing yourself to our listeners and viewers and tell us about your amazing work.
Thanks again, Maat. Very grateful for the opportunity to have this conversation with you today. My name is Arsene Ngombe. I am the Chief Enabler at RIAHSAH Co. I like the word enabler because my role is not just about leading. It's really about enabling growth of people, growth of ideas, growth of communities. What really got me started on this journey was seeing so many amazing youth and community initiatives that just couldn't reach their full potential. Not necessarily because of the people, but because of the systems around them that were weak. That's when it hit me. I sat, reflected, and thought that if we want real and lasting change, running project is not just enough. We actually have to shift systems themselves toward change. And when I talk about systems, I'm really talking about the structures and conditions that surround people and communities, things like education, finance, labor market, policy, even community support network. For example, a youth entrepreneur in a particular community may have a brilliant idea, right? But if financing system is not accessible, or if training does not prepare them for the realities of running a business, or even if policies make it hard to register and grow, then their initiatives struggle, no matter how strong the idea is. So when I say we need to transform systems, I mean making those environments more enabling, more responsive, and more sustainable so that people and communities can actually thrive. And that's what we do at RIAHSAH, my organization. We are a social impact network that designs and tests innovative solutions, turn lessons into tools and training, build communities of practice across Africa. And we call this building future systems, the systems that are more inclusive, resilient, and equitable.
That's amazing. And you know, it's so needed. What inspires you about the work you do?
Well, I've worked in the social sector in Africa for over 25 years, particularly with NGOs and youth development organizations. What continually inspires me is the creativity and resilience of young people on the continent. They are full of ideas and potential, but too often find themselves constrained by the systems that make it difficult for them to thrive. One of the most recent initiatives I've been involved is the Youth at Work project that we piloted in Kenya and South Africa through youth-led organizations. The project set out to tackle youth unemployment, recognizing that it sits at the intersection of many broader community challenges. Through Youth at Work, I personally witness what becomes possible when barriers are removed and young people are given the right support and opportunities. In both Kenya and South Africa, youth-led organization and entrepreneur we work with went on to create jobs for other young people. And many of them were young women who are now running businesses, generating opportunities, income opportunities, and serving as role models who inspire others in their communities. And that's what makes me happy and keeps me going. Seeing young people gain dignity, agency and hope, it reminds me why this work matters really. Yeah. Thanks, Mahat, for raising this important question. One of the biggest barriers we face is the tendency toward short-term focus. Many funders and institutions operate under significant pressure to show result within the very limited framework in the work that we do. And this pressure often pushes programs to prioritize quick and visible output, as we were speaking earlier on, rather than investing in the deeper and slower work that build lasting change. The reality is that when we talk about social transformation, especially when it comes to issues like youth unemployment or community resilience, these things take time. It requires creating enabling systems, shifting mindset of people, allowing people and organizations to experiment, learn, and adapt as they work. And these are not things that fit neatly into 6 or 12-month funding cycle. It's impossible to do that. So when the emphasis is placed too heavily on rapid result, it's unintentionally discourage the kind of long-term strategies or innovation that could make the most difference. So the way we've been doing our work, our way of overcoming these challenges is through building strong evidence, through research. What we do is we embed research into all our interventions, from the design stage through implementation to the documentation of lessons learned. And this approach really ensures that we are not only delivering program, but we're also generating credible insight into what works and why. For example, the Youth at Work project that I just mentioned, it didn't just create jobs, it demonstrated cost-effective and scalable model for youth-led enterprises that prove their potential to deliver sustained impact. So as we work, when we capture and share such evidence, it really helps us make the case for long-term investment and gradually shift the mindset of funders and institutions towards supporting systemic change. Another challenge is that systems are often resistant to change. The way organizations and institutions are set up often make them slow to adapt. There are rules, routines, power structures, as you know, that have been in place for years. And these tend to keep things the way they are, even when we know that there might be better ways of doing things. The real change, as we were speaking earlier, you and I, it takes time, and it really requires many people and organizations to move together, which can be difficult. And on top of that, again, you have a collaboration in the social sector, which is a problem. It doesn't always work as well as it could. You've got organizations that sometimes have overlapping roles, limited resources, competing priorities that makes collaboration much more difficult. Our way of addressing this is by creating spaces where people can openly talk about these issues and challenges. When youth, civil society, funders, and policymakers come together in the same room, we see a chance to surface the tensions, raise awareness, and the overlaps, and build the mutual understanding and collaboration. Once those issues are out in the open, they speak about it freely, it becomes much easier to find common ground and co-create solutions. And this kind of honest and inclusive dialogue is what lays the foundation of a genuine collaboration, I would say.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. It's, you know, we're always going to have these challenges and barriers, but it's to really overcome them, to really rise above it and try and find some common ground and keep that community strong and to keep the collaboration strong, you know, in order to fulfill our mission. So good for you. Good for you. So tell me, is there anything that you want to amplify, anything new you're working on currently?
Yes, we've got 3 or 4 big priorities that we're working right now. The first one is youth employment and innovation, and that is through our Youth at Work initiative. We've been working with youth-led organizations to scale our collaborative and innovation design model, equipping them to train and incubate youth entrepreneurs through, while also addressing community challenges. We first piloted the project in Kenya and South Africa, and now we are scaling in Kenya, Tanzania, and Zambia. And the way we work is very simple. So we design something, test it out, we learn from what happened, and then share those lessons. That cycle keeps us flexible and always moving forward. The Youth at Work initiative, it also has a research component to it. That's the Youth at Work Features Research, which explores how to prepare and support young people to access dignified and fulfilling work in emerging sectors like AI, green innovation, and digital enterprise. The second priority or work that we have is the WASH financing and community data. The challenge here that we are looking at is the Africa persistence WASH financing gap, where you've got enterprises and community who struggle to access capital. And on the other hand, you've got reliable data, lack of reliable data to deliver sustainable WASH services. To respond to this, we've set up the Integrated WASH Financing Data Capacity Lab, which combines innovative financing and community-driven data systems to improve access to funding, build robust business cases, deliver sustainable water, sanitation, and hygiene services. The third one is the knowledge sharing. As I said, where whenever we do an intervention, we turn lessons into courses, toolkits, ebook that anyone can use in the social sector. And finally, growing our systems future community, which is the hub that brings together grassroots experiences and global ideas, connect people and skills when they need or when they are needed, but also create a space where learning, collaboration, and systems change practice happens together. This priority reflects both urgent needs of today and the bigger vision of building systems that last.
Very good. Good for you. Um, you know, expansion, within that is very powerful when you can reach different countries and in their communities and their traditions and their cultures and how you can bring it all together. Good for you on that. Awesome. So, okay, so if I was to ask you, how do you feel about the future of social impact?
I'm actually very optimistic. I acknowledge that the challenges are huge, especially on the African continent. We've got challenges such as unemployment, environmental vulnerability, inequality, etc. But I see a new generation approaching them differently. I believe that the future of social impact won't be about isolated project. It will be about consolidated effort, supporting youth-led initiatives, using local experiences to guide action, learning from what works. And I believe Africa is well placed to lead in this space because resilience and innovation are already part of our DNA. So for me, the future of social impact is about human connections and collaboration.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, already touched on, like we're always touching on the youth. And again, they are the future, right? So they are
Yes.
going to continue what we have started. So they just want to know, because this generation is very, they want to know the who, what, when, where, and why, like, what are you leaving for us? So it's good that we lay a foundation for them to continue this work. So
Yeah.
very good, very good. Yeah. So if I was to just ask you, like, what does success look like to you? What would you say?
Well, our ultimate goal is to build future systems where people and community can thrive. And for us, success means a generation of young people and organizations in Africa who see the bigger picture, not just solving immediate problems, but working together with communities and institutions and networks even to influence how things are done. It means local projects contributing to policies and practices and a growing network of people turning ideas into action that create real and visible impact. So success is not just about project delivered, but about long-term collaboration where that we leave behind. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Awesome. So Arsene, this has been very powerful. Love the, what you're working on and how you're contributing to this. We know in our lifetime, it's the things that we want to see is not going to be to that, 100%. But guess what? We're part of that goal. We're part of chipping away at succeeding to that 100%. So we thank you so much for this. So just if you can give us your closing thoughts and calls to actions at this time as we close.
Okay, thanks again, Maat. Yeah, my closing thought is this: the future is today. It's not something we wait for, it's something we build. And my call is simple. Together, we can focus on solutions that create lasting impact. And whether you are a youth leader or policymaker, funder, or researcher, you play an important role in shaping meaningful change. Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing. So we will close the way that we began by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we are on. We also acknowledge our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So once again, my dear, we thank you so much. We'll definitely be collaborating again. I was telling you about the Solidarity Working Group meetings that we have. So I'll make sure that we send the invite to you so you can, amplify what you're doing. So once again, on behalf of SETI, we thank you for your dedication and your leadership.
Thank you, Maat. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So all the best to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.